Ronnie the T-Rex was crouched at the starting line of the 17th annual Dino obstacle course competition. The course was before him. Now it was time to test if all the hard work he had put in, all the training he had done every day the past few weeks, was enough. Ronnie had a big goal this year. Last year, he completed the obstacle course in 25 minutes, and he had even tripped twice. This year, his goal was to beat his personal best record. He wanted to make it through the course in under 18 minutes. Ronnie had been training every day. His mom built him an obstacle course in the backyard so he could train on each obstacle. He made notes to measure how he was doing. He sometimes said no to playing with his friends so he could practice. Some days he didn't feel like training, but he got up and he did it anyway. He even decided to eat the leafy green stuff his dad made instead of eating candy because it would help him be stronger and faster. Ronnie was ready. He was going to beat his time this year. The massive crowd of Dino fans cheered from the stands. Ronnie looked at the other dinosaurs lined up next to him. There was Kylie, the blue Triceratops, who always won first place. She was so awesome on the obstacle course. Ronnie hoped one day that he could be just as good as her. There was a red-orange Ankylosaurus named Drew. They could run really fast, but they had a hard time balancing on the balance beam. Then there was a green raptor who Ronnie didn't know. This was the raptor's first time on the dino course. Farther down the starting line, there were other dinosaurs of all shapes and sizes. Ronnie saw the Grand Marshal get into place with the starting flag. He turned his focus to the course in front of him. The announcer spoke over the loudspeakers.
Let the 17th annual Dino Obstacle Course Competition commence! On your marks, get set, go!
The Grand Marshal waved the flag and the dinosaurs were off. Ronnie sprinted down the course. The first obstacle were uneven rock pillars that jutted out of the ground. This was rough terrain. Some dinosaurs leapt from pillar to pillar, while other dinosaurs crawled over and around them. Ronnie felt like his feet barely touched them. He was leaping so fast that he almost felt like he was flying. He made it through the obstacle very quickly. At the next obstacle, Ronnie climbed up a steep ramp to reach the balance beam. He tightened his stomach, held out his arms, and fixed his eyes on the far end of the beam, just like he practiced. One foot in front of the other and staying straight, he balanced smoothly all the way across. Ronnie was making good time. Only 3 more obstacles to go. He raced to the hollow log obstacle. There were logs of different sizes, but none of them were tall enough for a full-size dinosaur to run through. Ronnie got down on his elbows and knees and did a belly crawl through the log. There was mud at the bottom of the log. Ronnie had to slosh his way through it. He hoped the mud didn't slow him down too much. Once through the log, Ronnie pulled himself up and wiped the mud off his nose and hands while he ran to the next obstacle. This obstacle was the one he was most nervous about, the Teeter-Totters. A row of moving Teeter-Totters shifted up and down in front of him. He would have to time running up and down the Teeter-Totters perfectly or risk getting bumped off and having to start the whole obstacle again. Taking a deep breath, Ronnie launched onto the first Teeter-Totter. It immediately moved up and then down, and Ronnie's foot slipped. He flapped his arms and leaned back to regain his balance. As the Teeter-Totter shifted again, he ran down it, watching the movements of the next Teeter-Totter in the row. He had to catch the timing just right. He hopped from the first one to the second one. The second Teeter-Totter was still moving, and Ronnie had to squat and grab the sides of it to keep from falling over. This was harder than what he had practiced. Ronnie told himself that he had to slow down and watch his timing better. 1, 2, 3 more careful transitions, and Ronnie made it through the Teeter-Totter obstacle. Ahead of him, he saw Kylie on the final obstacle before the last sprint. If he could see her, that meant he was doing pretty good on timing. "You've got this," Ronnie told himself. Running as fast as he could to gain momentum, Ronnie pushed off the ground and ran up another ramp. This one was much bigger than the one with the balance beam. He grabbed a rope halfway up the ramp and used it to pull himself up to the top. At the top of the ramp were ropes that went over a big pool of water. Attached to the ropes were 3 swinging bars. Like the monkey bars on the playground, Ronnie would have to swing from one bar to the next. He placed his hands on the first bar and swung. The bar pulled him forward. Just before the bar swung backwards, Ronnie let go and grabbed hold of the next bar. The next bar swung forward to the third bar. Ronnie did the same move, catching the third bar. The third bar took him to the platform on the other side of the pool of water, where he landed with both feet. Yes, he did it! He slid down the ramp to the ground where he could see the finish line in front of him. Just a final sprint, and he would complete the course. Make sure you stay exactly on the path, Ronnie reminded himself. This part of the course went directly through a field of quicksand. The dinos had to run straight, staying on the path, or risk falling into a quicksand pit. As Ronnie was running the final sprint, he heard a great yelp behind him. Should he look back? He might lose a few seconds on his time.
I'm stuck!
Ronnie took a quick glance back. Oh no, the green raptor, the dinosaur who was new to the course, had gone off the path and fell into a quicksand pit. Did no one tell him to watch out for the quicksand? The green raptor was flailing his arms and sinking fast. He needed help. All at once, Ronnie saw everything as if it was in slow motion. Thoughts raced through Ronnie's brain. There was no one behind them. At the finish line, Kylie the Triceratops was celebrating her win with the race organizers. They heard the green raptor and started running down the path. But they were too far away to make it in time. The raptor would be swallowed up by the sand. Ronnie was the closest dinosaur to the raptor, and maybe the only one who could help. Glancing back again, Ronnie could see that the raptor was already up to his elbows in quicksand. He had to help. But then another thought came into his mind. If he helped the raptor, there was no way Ronnie would accomplish his goal. Saving the raptor would take too long. It would be over 25 minutes by the time Ronnie crossed the finish line. All the hard work he had put in practicing every day would mean nothing. He would have to start all over next year. Maybe Kylie and the race organizers could make it and he could keep running. But then he had another thought. If I fell into a quicksand pit, I would want someone to help me. And Ronnie made his decision. Time jumped back to normal. Ronnie whipped around and started sprinting back to the raptor.
Help me! Oh, please, help me, please!
Cried the raptor. Take my hands, Ronnie shouted. He grabbed the raptor's hands as the raptor sank further into the quicksand pit. Ronnie pulled and pulled. It was tough, and the quicksand was like sticky molasses. But Ronnie had been training every day. He had been eating his leafy greens. So right now, Ronnie was strong. He pulled and didn't give up. Slowly, the sand began to shift. The raptor inched upwards. Then, slurp, the raptor came free, and they both fell back onto the path.
You saved me!
Oh, thank you, said the raptor. Ronnie was breathing heavily. No problem, he said. A moment later, Kylie and the race organizers arrived. The race organizers went to the green raptor to check him. Kylie helped Ronnie up. It's a good thing you turned back to help him. I don't think we would have made it in time. Thank you, Kylie said to Ronnie. Ronnie nodded. He was tired. He watched the race organizers help the raptor pull off the leftover quicksand sticking to his legs. It looked like sandy, elastic slime. The green raptor was a mess, but he looked like he was going to be okay. Suddenly, Ronnie remembered that he was still on the course and his clock was still going. I won't beat my personal record, he thought, but I can at least finish the course. Ronnie turned back towards the finish line. He couldn't run anymore because he was too tired from the course and helping the green raptor, but he did a walk-jog all the way down the path. He crossed the finish line, and the dino fans cheered. After the competition was over, Ronnie had mixed feelings. He was glad he helped the green raptor. At the same time, he was a little sad. Ronnie had worked so hard to beat his time, and he did so well on the course. But his time this year was 32 minutes. He didn't accomplish his goal. But then, Ronnie started hearing words from the people around him. His friend said,
Wow, you really pulled him right out of the quicksand like he was a big bag of fluffy marshmallows.
I could never do that. It's probably because you trained so hard. Boy, I should start training with you too. And Kylie the Triceratops said, You're really good at the obstacle course. You might take first place next year. And his little sister said, When you saved the dinosaur, that was the best part of the whole entire race. And his mom and dad said, We are so proud of you. And the green raptor, now quicksand-free, gave him a big hug. Ronnie's personal best goal didn't seem as important anymore. I'll keep training, he thought. There's always next year. And he gave everyone a big smile. The end.